Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips. And no Jeff Torrey today, so we have a special guest. It's actually another member of our fantasy league who happened to actually beat me this past week. It's James Walsh. And James, actually, I just want to talk about quick before we get into that. You posted a little stat there. I guess I haven't beaten you, since 2014 now, you said? Is that actually true?
Yeah, it's been 3 years and it'll be 4. Yeah, I went through our old record books and looked back, and the finals haven't been nice to me against you. I'm 0-2, but regular season, I got you.
Yeah, I guess I get you in the playoffs. That's all that really matters, I guess. So, but yeah, you got me beat this week. Jeff, too bad Jeff's not here to talk about his team. He went off, scored a ridiculous amount of points, probably one of the top we've ever seen. And then
with only 9 players, he forgot to...
didn't start a full roster, so people please give Jeff crap, because that's ridiculous. Don't start a full roster and you score almost a record score. It's not right. And yeah, he's not here to talk about it because me and Jeff are actually playing this week, so he skipped out on that week, but it's all right. We'll get right to the quarterback ranks. All right, James, who do you got number 1 at quarterback? I'm curious here. No Rodgers anymore. That was I put him number 1 every single week, and now I don't have that luxury. So who'd you go number 1?
Yeah, number 1, I'm going to go Tom Brady. Just can't doubt him. I think he's going to want to take it to Atlanta because people are saying they blew the game, that the Patriots didn't win it.
Yeah, I put Brady 1. He's been number 2 every single week for me, but of course he's the one who just moves up. I mean, Atlanta's not great defensively. They're okay, but there's nothing, they're not special, and Brady's good enough. And the quarterback position, I don't like a lot of them necessarily. My number 2 is Drew Brees. Who'd you go number 2?
I went with Dak Prescott, and actually I put him here before I found out Zeke was playing. But even with Zeke playing, San Francisco's pass defense isn't that great. So I think Prescott's going to have a good game. Plus, right now, he's got, I think, the second highest average per week. The only one that's beating him right now is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and I had to finally start moving him up my ranks. At the beginning of the year, I was kind of down on him. I don't know why. I started that last year in the podcast. I kind of had this thing against Dak. I just didn't think it was for real, but it is, and he has a good matchup. So I put him 4th, still top 5, top 4. He's up there, but didn't put him at 2 yet. I actually went, let's see here. So where'd you put Breeze did he go 3 or 4? One of those two, right?
Yeah, Breeze at number 3, so not too much further.
Yeah, so he's 2 for me. Dak's 4. So my 3rd is actually Matt Ryan. You put him up there at all? I didn't like him being up there necessarily, but he has the New England matchup. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, so I'm a Matt Ryan owner, and I'm a little bit scorned right now. So I've actually got him down at 6th, and I've been playing Deshaun Watson over him, but still just, I don't know, I can't trust him yet.
No, it's what I've kind of see happening, and it's more like it's pre-2016 Matt Ryan again. Like he was always just this mediocre, middle of the pack, maybe 10 to 15 ranked quarterback, and then last year happened, and all of a sudden we think he's a top 5 guy, but he's kind of become what he, was before, borderline top 10. But I just put him up there because of the matchup this week, but that's about it. I mean, going forward though, I'm not trusting it. So you say, you have Watson on your team. Are you going?
Yeah.
So past this week, obviously, are you going Watson over Ryan most weeks?
I think next week I'm going to go Ryan one more time because he has the Jets. But then, because Watson's going against Seattle in Seattle. That's the only reason. But I think past that, I'm going all Watson.
Yeah, because I think he has a lot more potential to have the big games. Ryan it's not there right now, and Julio isn't doing anything too. We'll talk about that in the next episode when we get to receivers. But yeah, it's been...
With Ryan, though, like if he doesn't do it this week,
exactly.
I think it's time to cut him.
Yeah, if he doesn't do it against New England, I mean, if he doesn't do this against New England, when is he going to?
Josh McCown was able to have a decent week against them, so if he can't, might be time to cut bait.
Yeah, and this is where Cam Newton became good again when he played New England. So that's when
I looked up at the stats on it, and like McCown, Cam Newton, Alex Smith had their best week of the year against New England, and then Winston had his second best week of the year against New England. So he should have a top 1 or 2 time week for the year against them. So let's hope, but I don't know. I can't trust him enough to move him up any higher than that.
No, and that, yeah, if he was playing any other team, I don't even know if he'd make my top 10 this week. I'm pretty much come to that conclusion that I don't think he's quite he's a fine player. It's just last year was just kind of one of those fluky great offensive seasons. They don't have Shanahan anymore, so that's probably part of it too. And then I went Cam Newton at number 5 there, which I can't believe I have Cam Newton as top 5 now after the way he started the year, but he's my 5th ranked quarterback this week.
I actually have him just a couple spots lower. Number 7 is where I have Cam.
And that's actually, if you look at the Fantasy Pros expert consensus, he is the 7th ranked quarterback, so you got him right at consensus right now. But it's a decent matchup.
I did see that he had a rushing touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games too, so I'm thinking he's going to start running a lot more. So, I mean, maybe he'll sneak up in the top 5.
Well, yeah, if he gets the running numbers back again and continues them, then he's a top guy every week. It's kind of my worry. I thought the rushing was kind of going away, and obviously it's changed, and Carolina's playing pretty decent when they have him run the ball, so I think they need to continue with it. All right, some of the other top guys, I'll just run them through quick here, the rest of my top 10. I go Cousins 6, Wentz, Alex Smith at 8, Russell Wilson 9, and Marcus Mariota is my 10th going against Cleveland. Maybe he should be higher against that Cleveland matchup, but that's what I'm going with. And I can't believe I put Alex Smith over Russell Wilson, but that's where I'm at right now with the matchups, and Russell Wilson's been up and down.
Yeah, I have Russell Wilson at 8, Kirk Cousins at 9, and Tyrod at 10.
Okay. Yeah, Tyrod. I put Tyrod. I can't buy, for some reason I can't buy into Tyrod. I don't know what it is. He's at 16 for me, which is, I'm lower than consensus on that. And why, I don't know. I just can't. There's something about it I can't buy into.
I'm not buying too much into him as much as I am against Tampa Bay.
True. I guess that's probably what it is. Tampa's, they're like around 30th ranked or something past, against quarterbacks this year, fantasy-wise. It's not been pretty good. What about, well, let me see here. Because after you get through that, it's just kind of, I honestly feel like all these quarterbacks are the same. Again, you can start pretty much a lot of these 10 through 15, and your difference isn't going to be too much. But I'm curious, where did you put Brett Hundley this week? Did you even rank him? Did you thinking there's anything there?
I didn't even put him in my top 20. Like, I think he'll do okay, but I feel like they're going to lean on the run game a little bit more with Jones and Montgomery. I don't think they're going to let him throw too much, even though McCarthy seemed to have a lot of faith in him. I don't know. I just think the second start of the year in New Orleans has looked pretty good too. Yeah,
surprisingly. You look at you see New Orleans and you're like, okay, put everybody up because they're going to have a great game. But New Orleans, if you look at their defense numbers, they haven't been too bad lately. So I didn't put him in my top 20 either. He's down there a little bit. I've seen people have him up as high as 14, 15, and I'm not buying into it that much, which is actually his consensus rank right now is 16th.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see that.
No, not at all. 16th seems a little crazy to me with a guy who's barely played. He threw 3 picks last week? Mm-hmm. I think that's what it was. So, yeah, I can't buy into that one either. Anybody else that stands out for you?
I don't know. Like Dalton has a hard matchup. Rivers going against Denver. Carr against Kansas City. Like, they've all got some pretty tough matchups. So I think, like you said, they're all just kind of grouped up in the same spot. And I can't really see any of them having like a great week.
No, and I really can't even find a great streaming option this week. I guess maybe Tyrod could be that. He's out there in leagues. Mm-hmm. If he's out. Not in every league, but he's maybe a good one. Yeah, that's a problem. I guess maybe you are stuck with like a Brett Hundley if you need a good streaming option. They're just not there. Even like Jacoby Brissett types, he's going against Jacksonville. That's not a good one. I guess your best option is almost Blake Bortles at Indianapolis.
Which Indy's bad, but Bortles is pretty bad himself.
Yeah, see, I can't trust that. Or you could look at Cutler against the Jets. You think that should be good, but I have no trust in Jay Cutler at all.
Hey, maybe he's got a little bit of confidence after beating the Falcons.
Yeah, I just can't trust him even slightly. All right, I'm going to move on from quarterbacks. Just move right over to running backs, which I think there's a little more interesting maybe. But again, once you get past these top guys, it's just all over the place. So I'll just go my top 3. How about that? See, we're probably have decently similar. I went Bell number 1, Zeke number 2, Kareem Hunt number 3. What do you got?
Mine's a little bit different. So I have Zeke number 1, Hunt 2, and Fournette 3.
Fournette 3. Okay, wait, where'd you put Bell then?
I put him at 5. I put him behind McCoy.
Okay, yeah, McCoy. I put McCoy 6 and Fournette 5, and in between there I have Devontae Freeman actually at 4.
Okay.
With just the whole going against New England thing, maybe there'll be something going on there. It's mainly been their passing defense has been terrible, but I like Freeman, so I put him up there. And yeah, Fournette, I guess, yeah, it is the Colts. I guess the only reason I hesitated is maybe the ankle injuries more than they're leading on.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I don't know. He seemed like he was fine to come back in if he wanted to, and I could see him just having a fine week again.
I hope so, because, yeah, I'm a Fournette owner, so I need him to be healthy. And this is a great matchup. But, yeah, I guess no one's really worried about the injury. He's third ranked right now on the consensus. So that's, in the consensus right now is Bell 1, Hunt 2, and Fournette 3. That was obviously before Zeke. This hasn't quite changed yet, so he will vault up there to the top, I'm sure. One of the top spots. And then, yeah, Freeman. Where'd you put Freeman then for this week?
I put Freeman at 7, so I put Mark Ingram at 6. I think against Green Bay and Hudley, I think New Orleans is going to have a bit of a lead, and they're going to kind of lean on him a little bit more.
Yeah, I jumped Ingram. Well, he's 10th, so he's not that high, but that's a big jump, though, for where he's been. And I think we always thought he could do this. I kind of wish, in a way, Peterson wasn't there to start the year, because Ingram would have been another top option. It just, I don't know what it is. Sean Payton never seemed to want to give him enough work, but every time he does, he's great.
He must not like him personally.
It's strange how it works with Ingram, but I don't know. Kamara's still going to get plenty of work. Oh, how about Kamara? We'll just jump to him and talk about Ingram. Where did you rank Kamara?
So I have him at 22, just because, I'm a little bit down on him compared to most people, I guess. But I just see him as more of a compliment out of the pass game. And I think if he were to get a touchdown there, then, he's obviously going to vault his way up. But I just like Ingram kind of banking on what he did from the last week, getting a bunch of runs and just kind of running the clock and ending the game and finishing off Green Bay.
Yeah, I put Kamara 19th. Expert-wise, he's 18th. But to me, he's in that same kind of situation. It's like Chris Thompson. It's like Duke Johnson, even Christian McCaffrey. It's Tevin Coleman. Those guys are good, but they're going to have weeks that they just score absolutely nothing. If just the way games go, they're not going to get all the carries. So it's always harder for me to rank those guys and at least trust those guys. And so he's kind of in that mold, and he's going to be as long as Ingram's there. There's no way he's going to get around that. And let's see here. All right, so I've said my top 6, I think. So my 7 through 10 will go Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley, Jay Ajayi, and then it was Ingram at 10. So how'd the rest of your top 10 look that we haven't talked about?
So 6, I have Mark Ingram, 7, Devonta Freeman, 8, Todd Gurley, 9th, Jay Ajayi, 10th, CJ Anderson. I think he has a bit of a bounce back this week.
Yeah, I put him at 14 this week. Just, I don't know. That was I don't know what happened last week. Maybe the Giants are just, we don't give them enough credit for how good their defensive, especially the defensive line was. The 0-5 record, kind of made us forget their defense is actually pretty decent. So,
but I'd expect CJ to get at least 50 yards against the Giants, but I think he kind of comes back against the Chargers in this one.
All right, so what about Adrian Peterson?
All right,
what do you do with him?
I'm an AP owner now, and I'm going to buy into the hype. So I actually have him at 14. But
yeah,
the game's in London, so who knows what's going to happen there? Maybe they might run it a little bit more, but the Rams are pretty bad against stopping the run, and I'm thinking he just kind of keeps it rolling. He's fresh too.
I put him at 12. Honestly, he's 15th expert wise. I feel like that's low because how many other running backs are out there that are going to be getting a guaranteed, he's getting 20 carries without a doubt. He's getting 20 carries. No one else was involved at all. Ellington wasn't involved. Kerwin Williams isn't involved. There's no one else involved. It's going to be all Peterson. And as long as the game's close, he's going to get 20, 25 carries every single game. And maybe he won't look great. Maybe it'll be 3 yards per carry, some of those, but he's going to get all the carries. He's going to get all the goal line work. Not many other players have that kind of role right now.
And especially just not being used at all in New Orleans. And so he's completely fresh coming in, and he's probably a little pissed off too, because he didn't want to have his career end like that, and everyone's saying he's washed up. So he's always been a freak his whole life. So I think he's going to really step it up while Johnson's out.
He says he has 4 to 5 more years left in him. The way he's playing, why not? If you look at Frank Gore, why can't he play till that age? Okay, Frank Gore's keeps doing it at 34? It's ridiculous. Which, that's another little rant I wish I could go on here. Frank Gore's fine, but Marlon Mack needs more carries. I'm really just a little upset at Pagano about that.
Yeah, it made no sense. To start the game, he looked great, and then he has 2 rushes. One was great, the other one he lost yardage, and then they're like, well, you're done now.
Yeah, not one more. Oh man, that I'm trying not to be biased. I guess I do have Marlon Mack on my bench in a couple of my teams, but I mean, I think the talent's clearly there. How is it not?
Yeah, I have no clue what they're doing. Like why they wouldn't want to give just like a little bit more of a break to Frank Gore too.
Well, maybe now with Turbin out, he might get more work, but I put him. He's my 38th ranked player. I wish I could put him up, but I can't. There's until he plays. But yeah, okay. Just had to go on a little Marlon Mack rant because that upset me all game. I mean, I wasn't playing him or he wasn't in my rosters, in my lineups, but still. I mean, how can Pagano not see that this guy needs at least? I mean, yeah, let's run for 22-yard carry in the first carry of the game and only get one more of the rest. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Maybe as the season wears on, he'll start cracking the top 30 and getting more and more carries. But yeah, right now I wouldn't trust him.
No, not at all. You have to see at least a week of. I thought that was last week actually. I thought that was the week 5. I thought we saw what we needed to know he'd get more work, but I guess not. All right, what about, let me see some other random guys here. Jerick McKinnon, a couple good weeks in a row. Where'd he go for you?
I have him at 23. I don't know, just like going against Baltimore. Their actually run defense isn't that great, but I don't know. I saw McKinnon hype last year and he just didn't fill it. Maybe, I don't know. I guess I don't believe it just yet.
Yeah, see, that's kind of where, I mean, I have him ranked higher than that. I do have him ranked 18th, but the consensus has him at 14 right now. And yeah, I guess he's had a couple of good games. And really, the game last week was pretty decent, but the one before that, it was pretty much all off one long carry. The majority of it was. But I mean, haven't we seen Jerick McKinnon for a couple of years now? And he's always shown he has promise. He's shown talent, but it never quite all comes together. And we had a whole season of disappointment last year from him. Kept waiting for him to do anything. I guess I don't know why it's different right now. Just because he had a couple good games or a good game and a half.
Maybe he knows because Cook's there to steal his job.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Jerick McKinnon. I've seen him. I know what he. I mean, I feel like I know what he is, and I don't know. I guess you're starting him though. If he's on your roster, he's probably a flex at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, he's a top 30.
What about Chris Thompson? Another one of these guys that I don't know what to do with.
I have him at 21 right now.
All right, so do I. I have him at 21 exactly. Yeah, I say the problem with him is you're going to have good weeks, but then you're going to have those nothing weeks like you did in week 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't know when they're going to come.
And Philly's got a good run D. It's, I don't know. I mean, everything he does is out of the passing game, so I guess that doesn't matter too much. So, I mean, I think he might go for like a long.
It's one of those players I have this is the highest I think I've ranked him, and I have a hard time with it. I don't know what to do at all. But, nah. I don't have him on my team, so at least I don't have to make those decisions. But,
yeah, me neither. So I'm lucky enough to just kind of let someone else deal with it.
All right, what about the Green Bay running backs? Montgomery and Jones.
So Montgomery I have at 20, and that's just hoping he's doing better with like his ribs and everything. Aaron Jones, I have him at 35. There he is.
Yeah, see, I don't know what to do with these two. I kind of made a cop-out, and I put Montgomery at 26 and Jones at 27.
I think one gets more than the other, and if Montgomery's healthy, I think it's going to be him. But at the same time, I would almost prefer Montgomery be out, and then you can just rank Aaron Jones higher.
And you know what? I think they definitely want to see what they got in Jones. And the problem is you can't really quite do that if Montgomery's there. So, I mean, I liked what I saw from Jones when he was out, and especially week 5. So, I don't think he's not going away, and this is going to become a split backfield. I mean, it's not like Montgomery was just lighting it up before he got hurt. He was fine. He was getting a lot of the work off of, getting catches and some short touchdowns that way, but he wasn't running the ball amazingly. He was fine. And then Jones is just as good, I think, as Montgomery at this point. There's not much of a difference between the two at all.
I think Montgomery's starting to show that he is more of a wide receiver. Anyway, like he started off the season great in weeks 1 and 2, and then kind of trailed off the last couple.
All right, I'm gonna go. Let's see here. Anyway, I'll go like one more guy here. Well, maybe a couple more. Mike Gillislee. Are you souring on? If Jeff was here, Jeff would probably still have Mike Gillislee top 15. I bet.
Yeah, well, he has him on his team and loves him.
Yeah, but, he's a big Gillislee fan.
I have Gillislee at 25.
I put him at 28, and if he's not getting touchdowns, it's going to be hard for him to do much. And I think everyone's kind of soured on this because he is right now this week, if you look at the expert ranks, he's 36th. He has fallen off the map.
It's the New England running backs. You just can't trust them. Like, it looked like we were finally going to be able to be like, oh, there's one running back in New England, and that's over with already.
Well, are you buying into the Dion Lewis hype that we got this week?
I mean, a little bit, but I just think it's going to be split between everybody. So there's not going to be a clear winner, and it's just kind of trying to guess who's going to get that touchdown.
Yeah, because Lewis has now jumped up to, let's see here, 31st for the week. So on the overall ranks, he's ranked ahead of Mike Gillislee for the experts. I don't have it that way quite yet. I have him at 30th, 2 behind Gillislee. Because why? I don't know. He did that this past week, but why? Who's to say that's not James White next week or whoever? It's just it changes. So it's still there. But if you moved him up a little bit,
yeah. I mean, I put. I'm losing my spot now in here. I put Dion Lewis at 31, so a little bit behind him.
Okay, right about the same.
Yeah, I don't know who to trust in this situation.
And then the rest of these running backs around here, I mean, what are you gonna do? You could throw Alex Collins out there. Who knows? I mean, Buck Allen. All these committee things. I hate these. I don't know what to do with them.
It's basically like throwing a dart at that point.
Yeah, Forte and Powell and McGuire. I don't know. Isaiah Crowell, he's like 39th for me or something now.
He's another one that you just can't trust at all.
No, you really can't. And then, yeah, it's just I'm having a hard time with some of these committees, man. They're no good. What about Darkwa? What are you doing with Darkwa this week?
Well, since he was the only one to be able to tear up the Broncos D, and I have him on my team too, so I'm going to buy into that hype a little bit. Like, I don't see why he can't take on Seattle next.
Right? Why not?
Because I mean, the Giants don't have anybody. They're throwing to Ingram, and then is Shepard back?
He might be.
Yeah.
We don't even know if he's back yet. And if he's not, yeah, I mean, what are they really just going to throw the ball to Evan Ingram and Roger Lewis all day? It's not going to work.
Gallman's not going to do anything great either, so he's really not competing against anyone, and he's looked pretty good the past 2 games.
I put him at, 29th for me. So it's still probably a little lower than I think people might have him.
That's one thing doing these ranks is just the 20 through 35 is almost impossible to just kind of differentiate between the different guys. It's impossible.
No, it's crazy. Well, because what about a guy like Joe Mixon? Where did you put Joe Mixon?
I kind of like him this week, so I have him at 15.
Okay, see, I have him 20, and I thought maybe I was going to be high. But that's the thing, though. Some people might have him 30th or something, and I get it. I understand. And you have him as high as 15th, and people have him as low as 30th, and that shows right there that it's once you get in these middle tier of running backs, it's just, what do you do?
And I can easily be talked into swapping him out too. So,
right, exactly. I just like the talent with Mixon. If you watch him play, he gives me that Le'Veon Bell vibe. Some of the way he looks sometimes.
Some guys just look faster and better, and he's one of them.
He does. He looks like that. And I think if they ever stop they don't even need to throw Jeremy Hill out in the game. I don't even know why he plays for them anymore. Seriously, the guy's terrible. And yet they still start off the game giving him some carries. I don't even think I did ranks as low as, let's see here. I've ranked 65 players this week so far. I honestly didn't even rank Jeremy Hill. That's how much I just don't care about that guy.
I went to 50, and he's not on mine.
No, but why he gets some carries over Joe Mixon makes no sense at all.
But I think that's going to do it for the running back quarterback show. Thanks to James for joining us today. He'll be back again tomorrow. We talk about wide receivers and tight ends. We'll talk to you guys then.